An attempt to blacklist independent voices has backfired hilariously. It triggered a rush by the public to learn more about critical thinkers who aren't fooled by the West good, East bad narrative. Now that list is going viral in the Chinese community. In February, an apparently Ukrainian group called Vox Ukraine published a list of voices which do not follow the recommended storyline, identifying these people as deliberate spreaders of Russian disinformation. Now, the list of names included China-friendly Professor Jeffrey Sachs of New York's Columbia University, a good friend of the Friday team in Hong Kong. Also named was another good friend of ours, investigative journalist Brian Belletti, who has covered US news manipulation in Hong Kong and Thailand and elsewhere in Asia in impressive detail. Also on that list was Max Blumenthal, who helped expose yellow-faced hoaxer Brian Kern of the Hong Kong Free Press. Many others on the list too: former British diplomat Alistair Crook, former US General Douglas McGregor, British entertainer Russell Brand, geopolitical analyst John Mearsheimer, and many others. There are even entertainers on the list like Jimmy Dore, he's a comedian, and Tucker Carlson, who's also kind of a comedian, I think. Are these people all Russian operatives? Of course not. But they are people who go against the mainstream narrative. All these people have one thing in common. They repeatedly say that conflict-creating interference around the world stems from the United States, from the West, not from the East. Here's Jimmy Dore.
We're the ones provoking this war, just like we provoked the war in Ukraine. We are now provoking a war with China. And who benefits? I'll tell you right now. Your enemy is not China. Your enemy is not Russia. Your enemy is the military-industrial complex, which has been fleecing this country to the tunes of hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars. How many times are we going to have a defense secretary say, hey, we can't account for $2 trillion in the Pentagon again? Which has happened twice now in my lifetime. The war machine cannot be stopped. Who's running this country? The war machine.
Now, many have debunked the Western mainstream media narrative about China, saying that it's a terrible country that's bad to its own people and has nefarious plans to take over the world. Now, Vox Ukraine's intention was to get these individuals cancelled. But instead, the list gradually went viral and now has reached the Chinese community. All this is bad news for the Western media narrative. But the story for them got worse. The Vox Ukraine group was quoted in the Washington Post article saying that they themselves were independent. But we now know that they aren't really. I very quickly found an academic study that said it was actually started by professors based in the US. And netizens found a 2015 annual report which revealed the name of their single biggest donor, the National Endowment for Democracy. Yes, the group set up to take over the overseas interference activities of the CIA. That's all on the record. This, of course, is the same group that's been pouring money into Hong Kong's anti-China activist groups since at least 1994. Here's what Kim.com, the internet entrepreneur, said. Zelensky released a helpful guide on who to follow. And now that list has reached the Chinese community, allowing millions of people to locate genuinely independent voices. You know, it's still not easy to defeat the Western narrative, which is pushed by all the international media. Statista said the global media and entertainment industry was worth $2.3 trillion US. That's big. How do we get the truth out there? We have no access to the front pages of Fox, CNN, BBC. This is the answer. Find the independent voices and share what they're saying. Peace.